Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Aiesha Rasheed, and I will be presenting the Taleem topic today. So, first, I want to start with the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. All praise is due to Allah, the guardian, evolver, cherisher, and sustainer of all the worlds. So, today's topic is goal setting, ambitions, and reaching your full life's potential with examples from the Quran. So originally, I was going to talk about forgiveness because when I was first asked to do this Talim, that was, the first topic that came to my mind. It seemed like an easy topic that I could cover. However, as I started to think about it more and what has been going on in my life personally, I realized that I had a little bit more passion to talk about, goals and ambition and, just trying to be the best human being that you can be. So, first, I just want to say this year has tested all of us and, changed a lot of us. Alhamdulillah, I have changed for the better. At least I think I have. In the beginning of the year, I was able to start out by going to Umrah. Alhamdulillah, I was able to get that experience. And so far, that has been one of the biggest tests of my life. Although I've heard many stories about how Umrah is and Hajj, there were still a lot of things that I wasn't really prepared for. But I do believe that it was a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given me. And I think that I've greatly benefited from it. And right now, all of us have been dealing with this unprecedented virus, unless you're alive during the Spanish flu. But if you're not over 100 years old, then you weren't alive during that time. So this is an unprecedented times for us. We're dealing with COVID-19 and the coronavirus. A lot of us were forced to stay at home. We're not interacting with our family as much. Not many of us have gone to the masjid as much as we're used to. A lot of things are over the internet through Zoom, and for some people that's working really fine. A lot, we're just chilling, and then other people it completely has turned their life upside down. So I just wanted to let everybody know that this topic is for everyone, regardless of your age. Whether you're sitting at home, you're 85 years old and you're watching this with your 6-year-old grandson. Whether you're 15 years old and you're watching this with your 45-year-old parent. Whatever age you are, this topic is for everyone. Because I know sometimes people they say, "Oh well, it's too late. I've spent so much time working on this thing. Why would I switch to something else?" Or I've heard often, "Oh, I'm too old to do this or that," and I have not yet been blessed with the years that other people have been blessed with, but I've heard my aunts, my parents, my uncles saying those similar sentiments, and I just want to let all of you know that it doesn't really matter where you are at in your life right now, whatever age you're at, this pertains to you. So I'm actually going to start with reaching your full potential first. And I'm going to start with the verse in the Quran. So this is Surah 95, verse 4. Many of us have heard this verse multiple times. It has been mentioned in khutbahs, in ta'aleems. And actually, when I was practicing the Arabic, I had to actually, make myself read it and not just recite it from memory. Okay, so what it says is أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. So in this translation, it says, "We have indeed created man in the best of molds." In some translation, they may say in the best of forms. So why am I bringing this up? Okay, so first, kalaka, we take that to mean creation, that Allah has created something. So based on the tafsir that I have read, the commentary of Imam Warthi Muhammad, and then also some tutoring from my brother Imam Abdullah Rashid, Allah is saying that He created us and He put everything in us. He put all of our potentials, everything inside us we already have within us. We just have to tap into it. So the next word that I want to focus on is ahsani. So ahsani is talking about the most excellent form that Allah created us in. And this form of the word ahsani is the same form that the word akbar is in. So for me, when I was told that, I read that, I was like, wait, what? So we say Allahu Akbar, right? And when we say Allahu Akbar, we're not just saying Allah is great. We're saying Allah is greater. He is greater than anything that we can imagine. I remember my father used to always tell us, if you imagine some, the large, huge, those big, huge blue whales that are in the ocean, Allah is greater than that. If you imagine the largest mountain on earth, Mount Everest, Allah is greater than that. And lately, I've been thinking about the universe and how vast and huge the universe is. And they say it's still expanding. And I don't know if you all have ever seen those videos where they'll show Earth and or a person on Earth, they'll zoom out and then they'll show Earth and the moon and then they'll zoom out more and it'll show the solar system and they'll zoom out again and they'll show the Milky Way galaxy and then they'll zoom out again and they show all the surrounding galaxies that they have been able to look at with our telescopes and they'll zoom out again and they'll show the fully known universe, what we can see with the technology that we currently have. And anytime I watch those, I'm just thinking, wow, I'm some tiny little dot in there on earth. And Allah is greater than all of that. So just thinking that the form of Aksani is the same form of Akbar, meaning that humans, we're not on Allah's level, but humans are the greatest form of any of Allah's creation. And when you let that sink in, it's just like, wow, that is extremely deep. And that's why we have to start to learn to really tap into our potential because Allah put greatness in us. So the next word that I wanted to talk about was takwim. So takwim is the actual form or the mold, but it's a lot more than that. It talks about basically whatever we can come up with, we can materialize it to like obtain, sorry, uplift, maintain, preserve the expression of our life. It's about continuously rising and continuously developing ourselves more and more. So let's go into a little bit about more what that can mean. So when babies are first born, they can't do anything by themselves. And then they learn to sit up by themselves. And then they learn to crawl. And then we learn to walk. So one day man was like, well, walking isn't enough. We began to run and then we couldn't run fast enough. So we started riding horses and camels and donkeys. And then eventually that wasn't enough either because man had started to um, expand across the world. So, we have cars now, boats, planes, and the cars, they've gone from being gas or running on gas to electricity. And nowadays they have self-driving cars. And I'm sure one day they'll have flying cars. I'm just waiting for that day. And then even if you think about the computer, so the first computer was huge. It probably like took up most of everybody's living room, if not more. And just imagine that that computer has been deduced to something as small as a cell phone. Like most people have a cell phone, and they have laptops, and still has all the information on it. But now it's on this small little form instead of that huge, huge thing. And man, we just keep on evolving. We have touch screens. It's pretty amazing. I remember when I was a kid, I used to look at the TV and imagine one day I'd be able to stick my hand in the TV and take the pizza out on the pizza commercials. And, some people might be like, that's kind of ridiculous. But when you think about how man has evolved, that might happen one day. I might need to patent that idea. So there's a quote that this brought to mind when I was writing my notes. So thinking about that, Allah is telling us that whatever we can come up with, we can materialize. There's a quote that says, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. So that's something that we definitely have to start believing. We have to believe that it can happen. So I also wanted to elaborate a little bit on the other verses because I know a lot of people, they know this or they're very familiar with it, and they may be like, okay, well, how does that um, go with the other verses? Because I know for me, for example, when I just read the English, I don't get any of this, just the English. I had to consult with others who knew the Arabic better than I do at this time. So in the first verse, And this is from the commentary of Imam Warthi Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him. So in the first verse, it talks about the fig. And so the fig has many, many seeds, and those can be considered potentials. And then the olive has one seed, and that's one goal that you focus on. So I don't know about the rest of you all, but anytime I have, listened to a manifestation talk or anything like that, people are always talking about how you can have multiple goals, but you should focus on one at a time. Otherwise, you'll be going back and forth and all over the place. So Allah is literally telling us in the Quran that we can have those, that we can visualize those different potentials, that we can visualize our goals, and then we have to start working towards them because He created us in the best of forms. So then the next, after verse 4, there's verse 5, and in verse 5, it does say that people are debased to the lowest of the low. So you might read verse 4 and then go to verse 5 and be kind of confused, like you're like, wait, what just happened? So that is talking about most people don't tap into their full potential. Unfortunately, a lot of us, and myself included, are held back by limiting beliefs that our family, our society, our communities have put in us, and it's not necessarily being done purposefully. Sometimes our parents may pass down things that were passed down to them unintentionally, and so there's something that I wanted to mention. I had watched a TED talk a few months ago. And the lady, she was saying that if you have an idea, you need to act on it in the first few seconds because that's your potential telling you that this is what you need to do. Just think about it. How many of us have seen something on TV and we're like, man, I could have did that, or I had that same idea. But the thing is that you didn't write it down, you didn't act on it. So just to give a few examples, I remember when I was I was talking to someone and they were telling me that you can put swim goggles over your eyes when you're cutting onions so that your eyes don't tear up. And I was thinking, wow, that's pretty genius. And then the crazy thing is I actually saw that same thing on Groupon. So somebody had created these goggles, I can't remember what they called them, to put over your eyes while you're cutting the onions, and they were actually marketing it and making money off of it. Another example that a lot of Black women will understand. A lot of people, they call them the baby hairs. They style them, right? A lot of us, we may use a toothbrush to do this. Well, in some of the beauty supply stores, which usually are not run by our community, they actually have what looks like a toothbrush, but it's made of wood or something like that, and they call it like the baby hairstyle brush or something like that. And I'm just thinking, wow, they're making money off of something somebody created in their kitchen. So like you have to, whenever you get the inspiration, you have to write it down and act on it right then, or you might find out that somebody else had already taken it. And I also wanted to share that as far as limiting beliefs go, reaching your full potential, etc. I know sometimes, unfortunately, we don't really get the full message when we're reading the Quran on our own in the English. So there's a few other books that I've read that basically have the same concepts. So there's the 5 a.m. Club, which talks about how important it is to have a morning routine. Because if you structure your morning, then the whole rest of your day is good. There's another one called Becoming Supernatural. And he talks about using the power of our mind, which is what Allah gave us, that potential He gave us to heal ourselves and have, lead the best life that we want to live, that we want to lead. And then there's another one that I read. It sounds a little weird. It's called Girl Wash Your Face. So when I first read the title, I was just like, what kind of book is this? But it's actually really good because she discusses how she was able to change her own life, how to overcome her own traumas, and how to start believing in herself more. And she's religious, so she uses, the example of God. In some of the books, they don't always say God. They may say like the universe or source energy. But essentially, for those of us who have faith, for us, it's God. We're talking about Allah. And then right now, I've been reading this book called The Science of Getting Rich that was recommended to me. And I recommend it to everyone because unfortunately, sometimes in our communities, we are told or taught that having wealth is a sin. But it's like Allah doesn't say that anywhere in the Quran that I could find. Of course, maybe the way you use it might be a sin. But in the book, the guy says that God does not benefit from you being poor. So if you're trying to change the world, if you're trying to uplift your community, if you're trying to leave a positive mark on the world, then you're going to have to end up getting wealth, so you can spread it to others. Okay. So I was talking about reaching your full potential. So that's really the end goal. So how do you actually get there? So first you have to have ambition and you have to learn how to set goals. So what does Allah say about this? So the next verse I'm going to use is Surah 2 verse 148. And I'm only going to do the beginning part. So what this says is walikulin wijhatun, sorry, huwa muwaliha fastabiku fastabikul khairat. I'm still learning, y'all, so forgive me. Okay, so what it says in this English translation is to each is a goal to which Allah turns him. Then strive together as if in a race toward all that is good. Okay, so I think y'all can kind of get how that relates to goals because the English translation is a little bit more related to that. So the word which hatun is goals, okay? And in some translations it may say, in parentheses towards prayer. But we have to remember that sometimes the English is not always getting all of the full translation. And so if it's just focusing on prayer, they may say, well, because you're trying to improve your worship, which is definitely what we want to do. But prayer is not the only form of worship. Okay, worship comes in many, many, many forms. So Allah put the potential in us. All of us have many different goals. And in order to properly worship Him, we have to reach these potentials and work towards whatever our life work is. So some people, they go on to be doctors, they're saving people's lives. We have surgeons who are doing heart transplants. We have people who are engineers. We have computer scientists creating apps that are changing people's lives. We have teachers who are molding and forming all these future doctors, engineers, etc. And we just have to remember that everyone's goal is not the same, and our souls are directing us with that potential that is in us. So, first you have to realize that whatever your goal is, you shouldn't feel bad about it. As long as it's a good goal, of course. You shouldn't feel bad about it. Some people may not agree with it, including your family, and that's okay. They don't have to agree with it, but it's not about them. It's about you reaching the potential that Allah put in you and reaching the highest level of worship that you can do by reaching your potential that He put into you. Also, once we start following our potential, we're able to start shedding our limiting beliefs, and we're able to start truly trusting ourselves more and trusting where our soul is guiding us. So I know a lot of you have heard about intuition. Everybody has it. I know many times it's emphasis more in the as a feminine principle, which I believe that it definitely is, but everybody has intuition. So one thing I want to share with you guys is an anecdote. So yesterday, I was talking with my family about we were talking about goals and intuition and trusting yourself. So after we were done talking, I came to my room, and there's this YouTube channel that I follow called Inspired, and they send quotes every day. And this one I had actually missed. It was from a couple days ago. But what it said was, the universe is saying to you today, listen to your intention as your repetitive thoughts, feelings, and ideas are giving you clues and instructions as to the next steps along your journey. So I don't know about the rest of y'all, but anytime something like that happens to me, I take it as a sign directly from Allah. So the fact that we were just talking about that, and then I literally saw it being said to me. I took it as Allah sending me that message, that this is exactly what we have to do. We have to trust our instinct, trust our intuition. So to give another like really basic example, I know that everybody has these thoughts or these moments. So you might be getting ready for work, right? And you think, oh, I need to put my badge next to my keys, or I'll forget my badge, right? You're like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry about it. And then you don't put your badge next to your keys, and then when you leave the house, you realize you left your badge because you didn't put it next to your keys. And before, I didn't realize that that was the little voice, my intuition inside, that was telling me that. And once I started trusting that little voice more, I started noticing just small things around that, oh, something told me that was gonna happen. I know y'all heard that experience someone saying, something told me that was gonna happen. Something told me. That's your intuition talking to you. So you have to learn to listen to your intuition in small things, and then also in like the bigger things, as far as like your bigger goals, because like I said earlier, that's your soul directing you and where you need to go. Sometimes it's easier for us to listen to the smaller the smaller things than the bigger things. So one big example for me, recently I had a change in work, and basically I was offered a different job. I was not with the same company I was working with, and I always like to get advice from other people. And, some people told me, oh, you should take it because it's more stable. And some people were like, no, just leave. And I struggled with, I had about like maybe a month to decide. And I struggled with it. I wasn't sure. But there was something in me that was telling me, don't take it, don't take it, don't take it. And I was just like, I was scared. It was not an easy decision to make. And when it was finally came to time to make the decision, I just took a deep breath and I was like, okay, I'm not going to take the job. So then, as soon as my current manager found out, then he told me, oh, well, actually, I wanted to offer you something else. I just didn't want to influence your decision about the other job. And his offer ended up being better. So that's just one example how sometimes we really have to listen to our intuition. A lot of people, they may say pray estacada. Definitely, definitely. That's a way to ask Allah directly for help, and to help you listen to whatever voices are inside. And it might be scary, but you just got to do it. You got to trust Allah, trust that what he what he's sending, the signals that he's sending to you are the best. Okay, so then I also wanted to talk about, okay, fastabiku. So fastabiku is about ambition. It's about going forward with passion and drive. Because and remember, in this verse, Allah says to strive forward as if in a race. No one's gonna be going slow in a race. If you're trying to win, you're not gonna be going slow in a race. So that's even in life. If you have a certain ambition, a certain thing that you really want to do, you can't just do it half-heartedly, because then it's not really your passion. So if you're working on something right now, and you're not passionate about it, if you're like, bored, or you're like, oh my God, I hate going to work, you dread getting out of bed in the morning, then that's not your passion. You have to figure out what your passion is, what drives you. So I was listening to another one of the, I can't remember. I should have wrote his name down, but I can't remember his name. But this guy, he gives a lot of advice on business, because he himself is a business owner. He's very successful. So he was giving people examples about how, if you're working at a job right now and you need that job, because a lot of people, you can't just leave your job. He was saying that when you come home, usually people are tired when they come home, especially if, they didn't like their job. So a lot of people, they'll turn on Netflix and just veg out and be like, oh, okay, I'm relaxing. But he said, if you find something that you like to do, for example, if you love baking pies, you can come home and use baking as your stress relief, and then you can sell those pies. So he was saying, first you sell them to your friends and family because they know you, and then they'll get the word out for you. So that's a way for you to work on something that you're passionate about, for you to start a business, and then for you to make money doing what you actually love doing. And then eventually you'll probably be able to leave that job that you hated. Um, so just remember that you have to be You have to go forward with passion and continually work on whatever you love doing. For example, I really like I like writing. So I have tried to find at least, 5 to 10 minutes each day to write down things. Or if I have ideas all the time about, oh, I can write a book on this, so I'll start writing it down. Or even um I'll have dreams, and I'm like, oh, let me write this dream down because that was pretty interesting. So, that's just a few examples. Okay, so then the other word that I wanted to mention was kaira. So, kaira is talking about whenever you have that goal, you have to figure out what is the best scenario and choose the path that is the best for that goal, whatever the best option is. So as I mentioned earlier, for me, for my job, my end goal, the best thing for me was to leave that job. You're the best goal for you may be to some people are able to just, save up for a little while and then start working on their whatever they're passionate about. Some people, they love their job, and you just figure out how to um elevate yourself in whatever, positions you can continue to get within that field. So, just to kind of summarize, I just want to say, first, you have to remember that reaching your full potential is worship to Allah, because He created us in the best form. Okay, remember that the word aksani is the same form as akbar. Like, that is extremely deep. Allah created us in the most excellent form. He doesn't want us to just be stagnant and not continuing to strive towards the best that He created us to be. And whatever form you figure out works for you, you can figure out how to worship Allah in the best way. So, for example, if you decide, okay, I'm going to open a school because I love to teach, you can change so many lives with that. And then after to in order to get towards your full potential, you have to have ambition. So you have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. No matter how much you try, it's not going to happen. And then set goals. So you can set big goals and then small goals to help you get to the bigger goals. And then another thing is that we have to realize that sometimes we worry too much about what everybody else is doing. Everybody's on their own path that Allah put them on. And I was listening to this manifestation talk this week, and the woman that was speaking, she said she uses jealousy as a positive thing for her. So she said, jealousy is a compass to desire. What does that mean? So if you see somebody, especially with social media, a lot of times we might see something that somebody's doing, and we're like, oh, they're just showing off. Or we might be like, oh, I wish I could do that. So she said, instead of thinking that, you think, oh, if they have something that I want, that means I can have it too. So I need to go put on my vision board. And for me, that was life changing. So instead of thinking that as it in a negative way, thinking of it as in a positive way, and think of it as that potential in you saying, hey, you can do this too. And then I just wanted everybody to know again that it doesn't matter where you are, what step you are at in your life. Allah gave all of us this potential in us. Okay, it doesn't matter if you've been working somewhere for 10, 20, 30 years, and you might be scared to leave that job, but you can still leave and go work on whatever you're more passionate about. It really does not matter where you are. So I know, I just want to let everyone know that if you are watching this and you're not where you want to be right now, I want you to write down your goals immediately after this Taleem is over, and like immediately, even if it's just one goal, then you can create a vision board. And you want to look at it every day. So it doesn't have to be like an official, huge like poster. Because I think for a long time it took me. I wanted to create a poster, but I'm not really. I have to plan out my organization. So, but someone I know made a binder just with pictures, and I was like, that is smart. So I did that. So you can do something small, or even I was listening to Steve Harvey one day, and he said he has his vision board on his phone, so he just has pictures on his phone. So you can put pictures on your phone, um, and just look at it every single day to remind yourself what you want, and then also just keep striving toward that potential that Allah has put in you. Okay. And always remember that you can do anything that you want to because Allah gave you that ability. So I just want to say thank you all for listening. I'm going to say anything that I said good that benefited you came from Allah. If there were anything that I said incorrect or any mistakes that came from me, I just want to say assalamu alaikum, jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum, and here are your community announcements. Join us every Friday for our virtual khutbah with the different imams of Masjid Warthani Muhammad and Mercy Community Center. That's every Friday at 1:30 Central Standard Time. You can join us on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mercy Community Center's Facebook page. Same with our Taleem and our public address every Sunday at 1:30. Every week we try to have something a little different. This week was a Sister Sunday. Next week will be the fifth Sunday Taleem, which is normally held by our Sisters Halakha group. Your zakat donations are needed. Please make your donations to make sure the programs like this and other programs run by following the links on your screen. And again, if you are a follower or attend Mercy Community Center, you can make your donations at the locations shown. Uh, you missed out on a special program, which was our Sisters Alignment session, which happened yesterday. That was done by Muslim Act Collective. So if you are interested in other sister-only activities, please go to www.muslimactcollective.com. The Muslim Journal has your date night covered. Join the Muslim Journal December 11th and 12th to watch a broadcast of the 2013 A Time to Be Grateful Culture Night. Reserve your link at muslimjournal.net/ATTBG. Just $20 for over 2 hours of entertainment. We also had a great program yesterday where teamwork makes a marriage work. We had over 12 couples come together to learn a little bit more about how to make their marriages last. If you are interested in similar activities, please join the Masjid WDM Marriage Support Group Facebook page and group. There is still time for you to make your donation to our donor wall for the Ibrahim Kamaluddin Community Center. It is $1,000 to get your name under one of the 99 names of Allah. And today at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll have our new Muslim orientation class. Again, the link to go is tiny.cc/new Muslim class with new Muslim and class all capitalized. The Sisters Hawker is every second and fourth Saturday of the month from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. To gain access, it's women only. Email salimacogbill@gmail.com. And Brothers Meeting is every Saturday, every third Saturday of the month. We just had it yesterday. Excellent meeting where we kind of talk about not only what we can do as a community, but what we can do as individuals. So please join us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.